Hello independent artists, today we're going to talk about how the music industry is evolving and why you should get excited about it. So today is going to be much more of an informal conversation. Maybe this won't be as structured. I want to make sure that it's more conversational, still educational. And on that note, let's begin. So there's a couple of issues the music industry is currently changing. The business model obviously currently is half working, half isn't. And here's just a couple of issues that I've noticed so far. We can't ignore the elephant in the room, Spotify and its low payouts. The second thing is unrecorded music usage. If you release a song out there, how do you know that a particular country or influencer isn't using your music for their own gain? There's no way for you to track it unless there's a code embedded within the track, which we'll talk about later on. Another issue the current music industry is facing is, the black box of payouts. So currently, if you don't know what it is, if you're an independent artist unsigned and you're not part of a major label system, all those unclaimed royalties basically go to all the major label acts. So let's say I have a publishing royalty designated for me, but if I'm not claiming it, it's sitting within a PRO account. If it's unclaimed within 18 months, I believe, that goes to a black box. So that fund, if it goes unclaimed, automatically goes to the majors, automatically, well, not the major labels, but actually the major acts who have more of the pie of the whole royalty payout, for example. The next thing is, monetizing music just by itself, which is quite unheard of. You can't really just monetize music as it is by itself. This is especially true for independent artists who might rely solely on their music as a proposition. Almost impossible unless you're the 1%. Another issue is music saturation. In terms of music releases, in terms of competition, an average music release per day is 40,000, and that's on Spotify alone. There's no quality control. Obviously, anyone can do it. So it makes it harder for us to get discovered as independent artists. Another issue is obviously we're in the pandemic right now. Live shows are pretty much dead. Once it comes back to life, what's going to happen? Will promoters want to make sure that every artist they have has a certain amount of tickets sold before they actually promote the show, for example? Here in the UK, so many venues have closed down, and that's a shame because that's, a big platform for independent artists to actually promote their music and to perform and to create their own community and their fan base. And now that's been taken away from them, what's going to happen to independent artists? That's a big issue. Another big complaint from independent artists specifically is that apparently music is becoming more of a visual experience rather than an auditory experience. Unfortunately, in a digital age, that's just the way it is. Like I said, monetizing music just by itself is unheard of unless you're the 1%. So integrating a visual experience within your music is vital. And I think the issue there is that a lot of independent artists never really think of their visual branding, for example, the way they visually represent themselves. I think that's a quick issue that can be resolved, with branding. The next issue is, I think it's easier to get people to listen to music, but now that that's happened, how do you turn those listeners into actual fans who will actually do more than just listen to your music, where they follow and engage with you on social media, they sign up to your mailing list, they actually buy your products, That's an issue that maybe I can do a video on. Let me know in the comments below. Penultimate issue that the current music industry model is currently facing, I guess independent artists specifically, they're overwhelmed. There's so many factors that plays into building a career: branding, marketing, music creation, administration, distribution. I don't want to get into territory where there's going to be arguments over this particular topic, but I think that takes a toll on creativity. As an artist myself, when I'm having to think about all those other things, where do I find the time and energy to focus on the art, the creation, the creativity? So we'll see how that gets resolved, And it might be that that's more of an individual challenge, but I think if the music industry provides a framework where there's more focus on creativity and creating higher quality music, I think that will be beneficial for the fans and for the creators themselves, rather than feeling like, it's all about quantity. I have to release 10 songs because my competition has released 10 songs this year. So we'll see how that pans out. The final issue that I think a lot of, not just independent artists, but major label acts are facing is promotion. I think there's so much promotion happening right now in terms of every other sector. How does music fit in within that environment? And how do you really differentiate yourself as an artist, as a brand, so that you don't get stuck in the saturated market that it's currently in? And at the same time, how do you define a budget for promoting yourself? And I'm talking specifically about advertising online. I don't have much experience advertising beyond that within traditional means, whether that's TV, media, or newspaper advertising. I'm talking about digital marketing specifically. How do you define a budget, and how do you define spreading that budget across different channels? All right. So now that the bad news is out, let's focus on the good things, right? That's the whole point why Soundprise is here, is to help you independent artists actually be proactive and be more informed about the future of the music industry and how it's going to impact you. So the first reason why you should get excited about the music industry and its evolving nature is blockchain technology. And currently I can barely explain what it is, but basically, if you think of it as this probably is more beneficial for songwriters, for example, where attaching some form of blockchain technology within your song means that it can be tracked, whether that's, where it's been streamed, how it's been streamed, how many times it's been streamed, and where it's been used, which location. And the reason why that's exciting is because it can't be tampered with. With blockchain technology, you can't manipulate it. Wherever it goes through, whatever types of data sectors it goes through is tracked. It's tracked measurably, and like I said, it can't be tampered or faked. For all we know, when we see a number on Spotify, we don't really know if someone has 1 million streams, or are those fake, are those robots, I think with blockchain technology being implemented within the music industry as a whole, will make sure that, songwriters and musicians get paid out the right amount at the right time. There's actual data backed up for those payments. Now, I know blockchain is a big topic. I don't think the music industry will really implement this within the next, I would say, maybe 15, 20 years. As you know, the music industry is slow at adapting things. So unfortunately, I'm sure this conversation probably isn't really happening right now. As technology professionals always say, you can't fight technology. Eventually, blockchain will be hopefully a part of everyone's daily lives, and hopefully for us musicians, all I can see is upsides for it, So the second point I want to make is that, yes, I get that we're in a saturated market. Everyone's releasing music. Music fans are overwhelmed with so much music. It's hard to really convert them to become an actual fan of your music specifically. But I think in a saturated world, niching down and actually being truly yourself is how you create a fan base that caters to you specifically. And that's how you win in this day. Niche down. And I think the reason why that's exciting is because you don't have to play a particular role anymore. You can truly find your voice, your brand. That's not fake, that's not built up by the majors, and find a fan base for that. There are people out there who care about you. You just have to find them. The next point is that, major label record deals will become much more flexible. Will they be non-existent in the future? That's a big question. I don't think they'll be non-existent, but I think, like I said, they'll be more flexible. They'll probably be seen as much more of an external resource rather than a resource that has to be integral to an artist's career. And the reason why that's exciting is because we can see that right now independent artists have 100% power and responsibility with their careers. And that obviously adds a bit more responsibility to you as an artist, but I think when you have the responsibility, you actually care more about your career and you care more about the decisions, and there's no way for you to blame anyone else. For me as a person, I like the idea of being able to know that every decision I make is solely from my perspective and not being influenced by anyone else. This next point is really exciting, and it's compounding opportunities for independent artists and music usage within cross sectors. What does that mean? Well, music isn't just audio, right? Music is used in film, it's used in events, and the reason why the future of the music industry is exciting is because music will be adapted within apps, it's being adapted within podcasts, more people are listening to audio, and not just audio, but longer forms of audio. I haven't even mentioned virtual reality, augmented reality. music will always be implemented within these types of sectors, and therefore and that means that there's more opportunities to monetize music. There's more opportunities to, cross-promote what music is. I think the integration of technology and music will become more seamless within the next 5 to 10 years. And I think the tech industry as a whole knows the value of music and audio in general. And they'll probably invest much more in the music industry. So the next point is that, going back to the idea of, music fans being overwhelmed with so much music, I think subconsciously fans want to feel more of an experience when they're listening to music. So the reason why that's exciting is because as a music creator, you're not just thinking of creating music that's pleasant for the ear, but now you're thinking of ways to enhance those experiences, whether that's through storytelling, that's through using 7.1 surround sound, that's using other factors within your songs like a commentary. You can go wild with it, man. You're creative, so, get creative. So yeah, music fans want to feel music as more of an experience rather than just passively listening to it. They want to feel a part of that experience. So the question is, how are you as an independent artist amplifying that experience? Where's that experience coming from? The next point is that independent artists are now seen as, thought leaders. They're now seen as personal brands. Whatever you think of that idea, it doesn't have to be bad. Being a personal brand doesn't necessarily mean working with McDonald's or working with a company or another brand that you don't believe in. Going back to the previous point, as an independent artist, you've got that choice to make a decision. Who you want to partner with, who you believe is right for you, who's right for your audience and your message. The reason why that's exciting is because, again, as an independent artist, you can connect with brands, with PR, media outlets. You can even speak at events where you feel it's relevant for you. And again, going back to the idea of compounding opportunities, where you take one opportunity that leads on to another, and so on and so forth, until you have all these different sectors and channels of amplifying your career, So another point how the music industry is evolving right now and why you should get excited is AI. And there's kind of two perspectives to this. One is that AI will destroy everything and take our jobs, or the way I see it is AI will actually automate processes that take time and speed things up. I think artificial intelligence definitely is a big topic. How I see it being implemented within the music industry is, one way of me seeing artificial intelligence being used is, song distribution. Having a platform where you upload one song, you've got a profile of who you are as an artist, and that being automated into release, into a timeline, where then it can submit your EPK to different outlets and blogs and curators, and then that becomes automated with this sector, with that sector. There's no aspect of you having to chase people and chase things. There's like an all-in-one platform where everything is automated, everything is done for you. All you have to do is the setup, I know that's just an idea right now. My head's kind of going crazy, but that is going to be happening in the future. And not just in music, but in every part of our lives. Everything will be automated. AI will kind of alleviate things that are slow. That's just human nature and technology working together. Now, the drawbacks of AI, which is, being implemented right now, there's a report of Sony using an AI platform to kind of produce a song, from songwriting to the actual production. Will it take the jobs of songwriters and music creators? I think we have to be practical. I think obviously that will happen. As AI develops, jobs are unfortunately going to be cut. If there's one thing that AI can't replicate, and that's why I think creatives as a whole is such an important factor within human history itself, is you can't replicate human creativity. You can distort it, you can do an exact copy of it, but you can't, wherever that creative energy stems from is something you can't replicate, And I think that's just the power of the human brain. 100 different people have the same instruments, the same equipment, the same perspective, but the way they'll create a song is completely different. I could give you an idea right now, another person will have a completely different way of understanding that idea. Creativity is dynamic. It's something that you can't necessarily predict all the time, and it's always evolving, right? So the next point is Superstars will be a thing of the past. Now, this is another controversial point. Am I saying that the Beyoncés or the Taylor Swifts of our generation will disappear? No. What I'm really trying to say is that the level playing field for artists will level out. And the reason why that's going to happen is because, you know, the internet is making it possible for anyone to become someone, for anyone to create a community, for anyone to create a fan base. And therefore, hopefully, the monetary acquisition actually balances out as well. So that means opportunities will become presentable for everyone, not just the higher ups, not just the Beyoncés, you know. So that means opportunities will be presented to someone like yourself, rather than just being presented to the top 10 artists of our time right now. The final point I want to make why the music industry will be exciting and, you know, the way it's evolving currently. So once the live music industry comes back to life and the pandemic ends, live music will become more of an experience. The fact is, music fans that go to gigs, they miss going to shows, they miss the experience of music, they miss the visual experience, they miss the community around them singing the same exact words as everyone else. And I think live experience as a whole will obviously, you know, probably hike up the prices, which will amount to obviously more income for everyone, not for the consumers, but that's a topic for another day. And I think live music will be much more appreciated and much more valued. And I guess if I was to summarize this whole video, fans want to be able to make sure that when they experience music, that it's a memory. And it's a memory they can treasure and they can talk about, they can capture. Once they become a fan of you, they become advocates of you and they promote you automatically, you know. That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I know, a bit of a long video. There's a lot of points there I can do a separate video on. But I'd just like to make sure that you're still optimistic about the music industry. I am personally. I know there are a lot of challenges we have to face, but that goes out to every sector of business, you know. It's not just us getting hit. My position in it, Soundprice's position in it, is that let's be proactive about how we're going to evolve through this. Let's take responsibility. And more importantly, let's amplify what music is as a whole, you know, whether that's through the quality of the music, the experience, developing the music industry as a whole, as individuals. We can do that. And I think we should support each other more. And I'm not just speaking to independent artists at this point. I'm talking to musicians, engineers, entrepreneurs, and everyone who watches this video. I think if we create a community where we see each other's values and we amplify each other through collaboration, I think we'll all win. And that is my conclusion for today. Thank you for watching the video. If you found this video useful, please like the video. It's going to help with the algorithm. It's going to help me know that people are actually watching and there's value within what I do. Subscribe yet if you haven't. And if you have any thoughts below or feedback, comment it below. And I hope you have an amazing 2021. More content will come. Be patient. Here's to more music and success. Peace and love. Out.